Welcome back to Sport World, your home of sports news. Let's get right into it. Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti said criticism of his team was well-deserved after their long unbeaten run came to an end in a 1-0 defeat against Lille in France in the Champions League on Wednesday. I am very honest. Criticism of us for today's game is fair and correct, and we have to accept it. We did not play well in this game, Ancelotti said after Jonathan David's penalty just before halftime gave Lille the victory they merited. It was Real's first defeat in 37 games in all competitions since January, their first in the Champions League since losing to Manchester City in the semi-finals in May 2023. This has not happened to us much recently. Luckily, our opponents played better than us and deserved to win, added Ancelotti, whose team beat Borussia Dortmund in last season's final. Madrid had beaten VfB Stuttgart 3-1 in their opening game 2 weeks ago but joined the likes of Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, and Atletico Madrid in having lost one of their first 2 matches. The top 8 teams in the standings after every team has played 8 games will advance directly to the last 16. The remaining places in the last 16 will be taken by the winners of playoffs between the teams finishing from 9th to 24th. Real's next game in 3 weeks will be at home to Dortmund in a repeat of last season's final. After that, they face AC Milan, Liverpool, and Atalanta. That game against Dortmund will also see Jude Bellingham come up against his old club, and the Englishman will hope to improve on an often poor start to this campaign. At England, Aston Villa repeated their famous 1982 European Cup final win over Bayern Munich as Jhon Duran's winner beat the German Giants 1-0 on Wednesday. The Colombian striker caught Manuel Neuer off his line 11 minutes from time to make it 2 wins from 2 games for Villa in their first experience of Champions League football for 41 years. Bayern arrived at Villa Park unbeaten and in free-scoring form since Vincent Kompany took charge, but the visitors were stifled by Unai Emery's game plan and caught out when Duran latched onto Pau Torres' long pass and fired over Neuer from long range. Prince William was among the over 40,000 Villa fans who inspired Emery's men to shrug off the vast gulf in Champions League pedigree between the sides. Britain's future king was among those to congratulate Emery in a meeting after the match. "I told him the best moment we can pass is days like today," said Emery. "I don't know where Villa can go, but we are going to try to enjoy the way. Today we will remember how we played, who we played in the Champions League final from 42 years ago. It was a special day. They dominated the ball early on, but Kane's header from an offside position that was well saved by Emi Martinez was the closest they came to breaking through Emery's well-organized defense. They're a strong team, and this place is not an easy place," said Kompany. "I don't think the performance was perfect, but it wasn't a bad performance." Michael Olise was another of Bayern's stars making a return to England, and the former Crystal Palace winger was only denied the opener before halftime by a stunning save from Martinez. Kompany had surprisingly left Jamal Musiala on the bench, but the German international was summoned to make an impact at halftime. Musiala's pass finally unlocked the home side's defense, but Serge Gnabry could not beat Martinez. The Argentine then produced an even better save deep into stoppage time to turn Kane's header to safety. Arne became the first Liverpool manager to win 8 of his opening 9 matches as Mohamed Salah's brilliant strike sealed a 2-0 victory against Bologna in the Champions League on Wednesday. Slot has made a flying start to his reign after replacing Jurgen Klopp, and Liverpool's second successive victory in this season's Champions League was another landmark moment for the Dutchman. Alexis Mac Allister put Liverpool ahead in the first half at Anfield, and Salah bagged his 49th Champions League goal in the closing stages. Already sitting top of the Premier League 6 matches into the season, the understated Slot has definitely ensured Liverpool haven't missed a beat since the end of Klopp's successful reign. Even Klopp, Kenny Dalglish, Bill Shankly, and Bob Paisley were unable to muster as many wins at the start of their spells in charge of the Reds. Liverpool began their European campaign with a 3-1 win against AC Milan, and this was another confident display in Slot's first taste of a Champions League evening at Anfield. Slot, who managed in the Champions League with Feyenoord, said he wanted to create a special night, and the history-making win surely lived up to that billing. "It wasn't an easy one. In my opinion, Bologna made it difficult. The last pass could have been better," Slot said. "Overall a good result, but I wouldn't use the word delighted myself." Bologna, surprise qualifiers for the Champions League after a 60-year absence, competed gamely but couldn't find the finishing touch to produce a fairy-tale upset. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami have another trophy, along with home field advantage throughout the Major League Soccer playoffs. Messi scored twice in the final minutes of the first half. Goalie Drake Callender stopped a penalty kick in the 84th minute, and Inter Miami beat the defending MLS Cup champion Columbus Crew 3-2 on Wednesday, October 2, 2020 for night. wrapping up the Supporters' Shield given annually to the team with the best regular season record. It was Messi's 46th major trophy won for club or country, extending his record for the most by any men's football player in history, and it is the second he has won with Inter Miami. This Supporters' Shield being added to the League's Cup trophy the Herons claimed shortly after Messi joined the club in 2023. "We knew this was a group that could fight for this," Messi said. Atletico Madrid's 4-0 loss at Benfica in the Champions League on Wednesday was the team's worst defeat in Europe in 3 years. According to UEFA, Diego Simeone's team had lost by the same score to Bayern Munich in the group stage of Europe's top club competition in 2021. The 4-goal loss to Benfica is Atletico's joint biggest margin of defeat in UEFA club competitions. It had previously lost by 4 goals 5 other times. From the start, it was really bad, Atletico goalkeeper Jan Oblak said. "We didn't play from the beginning until the end. They did a great job. They have a great team and they deserve to win. They did much more than us. And fortunately for us, we lost 4-0 and it could have been more." Benfica's victory equaled the biggest winning margin by a Portuguese team against a Spanish one in a European Cup or Champions League match. It also earned the other victory, defeating Real Madrid 5-1 in February 1965. Mohamed Karim Aktürkoğlu opened the scoring in the 13th minute, and Angel Di Maria, Alexander Ba and Orkun Kaku added second-half goals for the Portuguese club. Di Maria and Kaku scored off penalty kicks. Girona scored 2 own goals and missed a penalty as they fell to a narrow defeat in their first Champions League home match. The Spanish side took the lead through 34-year-old defender David Lopez in the 19th minute, but were pegged back for minutes later when Quentin Timber's header deflected and off Girona midfielder Yangel Herrera. Teenager Antoni Milambo put Feyenoord to 1 ahead in the 33rd minute, and the Dutch side were given a penalty moments later for a foul on Timber. But goalkeeper Paulo Gazzaniga denied a Yossi Weda from the spot. In the second half, Girona had a goal disallowed and were then gifted a penalty of their own after Timon Wellenreuter fouled Bojan Miovski in the box. But the Feyenoord keeper redeemed himself to save the former Aberdeen forward spot kick. Donny van de Beek equalized for the hosts, scoring his first goal for the club since joining from Manchester United in the summer. But Girona were denied a first point in the competition after their defender Ladislav Kredzi turned a Igor Paixão's 79th-minute cross into his own net. Girona also lost to Paris Saint-Germain in their Champions League opener after a 90th-minute own goal. With 3, they equaled Fenerbahce's record for most own goals in a single Champions League season, but became the first side to net an own goal in each of their first 2 games in the competition. We would see how they keep up in the competition without netting more own goals. That would be all for now. Like this video, drop a comment, subscribe and turn on the notification icon to stay up to date with new contents. Thanks.